my friends, you've been standing in the same place for far too long. You've been circling the same mountain, crying over the same pain, holding on to the same fear. And now the voice of God is thundering into the silence of your soul, telling you this one divine instruction. It is time to move. Move into your new season. Step into the change I've prepared for you. This is not a suggestion. This is not a whisper of encouragement. This is a command from the Creator of the heavens and the earth. God is calling you out of what was and pulling you toward what is to come. He is shaking the dust off your spirit and saying, enough of the wilderness, enough of the delay, enough of the fear. Your new season is here, and I am with you. When God speaks, it is never idle talk. His voice carries the weight of creation. His word never returns void. And right now, His voice is hovering over your life, stirring the waters of your spirit, preparing to break the chains that have held you bound. You may not feel ready. You may feel unqualified. But when God declares a new season over your life, no enemy can stop it, no past can block it, and no failure can cancel it. You've cried through the night, wondering if the breakthrough would ever come. You've watched others move ahead while you were still stuck. But hear me now, God did not forget you. He was preparing you. He was pruning you. He was digging deep roots in you so when the storm came, you would not be moved. And now the time has come. God is opening the door to your next chapter. He's shifting you from waiting to walking, from hoping to possessing, from praying to receiving. Some of you are still clinging to the last season because it is familiar. You've made peace with your limitations. You've gotten comfortable in survival mode. But God never intended for you to build a home in the valley of despair. He never told you to settle in a place of lack. He is telling you to rise up, to shake off the chains, to gather your strength and move into what He has promised. This is the season where old things must die so new things can live. This is the season where God will tear down what you built on fear and raise up what He designed through faith. He is calling you to walk by faith, not by sight. You may not know where the path leads, but if God is guiding the steps, you can be sure it leads to glory. Let me tell you, when God says move, you don't negotiate. You don't wait for a sign in the sky. You don't need everyone's approval. You obey, because delayed obedience is still disobedience. And if you stay too long where God has already left, you will miss the blessing He has placed in front of you. Some of you have been trying to resurrect what God already buried. You're praying for Him to bless what He has already shut down. But God is not a God of backward steps. He's a God of forward motion. He doesn't recycle dead seasons. He creates new ones. The same God who split the sea will split the silence in your life and make a way where there was none. You are not too old. You are not too broken. You are not too late. God's timing is perfect, and if He is telling you now is the time to move, then now is the time to move. Not next year, not when you feel ready, not when it makes sense, now. Because when God ordains a shift, He supplies the strength to carry it. Don't look around for confirmation when you've already heard divine instruction. Don't ask others to validate what God has spoken in the quiet of your soul. People may not understand your shift, but you're not walking by their understanding. You are walking by the Word of God. There is a fire rising in your spirit right now, and that's not by accident. That's the confirmation you've been waiting for. That's God stirring your soul. That's God setting your heart ablaze with holy urgency. You were made for this moment. You were born for this breakthrough. There is a land flowing with blessings ahead of you, but you have to leave Egypt behind. You have to release the trauma, release the betrayal, release the bitterness. That season was real, but it's over. Don't miss your miracle because you won't let go of the memory. God is doing a new thing, and you won't see it while staring in the rearview mirror. You can't step into tomorrow's favor with yesterday's mindset. God is transforming you, elevating you, lifting you, but transformation requires separation. He will separate you from people, places, and patterns that no longer fit where He's taking you. Yes, it will feel uncomfortable. Yes, it will stretch you, but growth is never comfortable. Faith is never easy, and the path God has for you is paved, not with comfort, but with calling. If He's telling you to move, it's because He has already prepared the land. He has already opened the door. He has already gone ahead of you. You may feel small, but the God behind you is mighty. You may feel weak, but His strength is made perfect in weakness. When God says go, you go in His power, not your own. The same God who called light out of darkness is calling purpose out of your pain. He is calling strength out of your struggle. This is not just a season of change. It's a season of rebirth. A season where everything that was hidden will be revealed, where everything the enemy tried to steal will be restored, where the years you lost will be redeemed. God is not just moving you to a new place. He is making you a new person. Let me tell you what's going to happen when you step forward. The doors will open, the chains will break, the favor will fall. Because obedience is the key that unlocks heaven's storehouse. God responds to faith, not fear. And when you walk in faith, you give God permission to move in ways that will leave you in awe. Don't you dare let fear hold you back. Don't let doubt whisper lies into your spirit. Don't let the enemy talk you out of what God has already promised. The same God who parted the sea is clearing the path for you. The same God who brought water from a rock is about to bring provision from an unexpected place. You've been waiting for a miracle, but maybe the miracle is waiting on you to trust, to obey, to move. Stop praying for open doors while refusing to walk through them. Stop asking for change while holding on to the chains. God is saying, I have more for you, but you must take the first step. This new season won't look like the last one. And that's the beauty of it. God is a God of new beginnings. He's not recycling your past. He's redefining your future. He's not tweaking the old version of you. He's resurrecting the best version of you. In this new season, you will walk with power. You will speak with authority. You will carry peace that makes no sense to the world around you. You will see doors open that were shut for years. You will encounter favor that your resume could not earn, because it's not about you, it's about God's plan for you. If you only knew what God has prepared, you wouldn't hesitate. If you only knew the glory waiting on the other side of your obedience, you would run, not walk, into the season He's calling you into. This is your time. This is your moment. The old is passing away. Behold, the new is breaking forth. God is shifting the atmosphere. He is breaking cycles that have followed you for generations. He is canceling every assignment of the enemy. He is silencing every lie. He is dismantling every trap. And He is declaring over you, move forward, your time is now. You will not fail. You will not fall. You will not faint, because God is upholding you with His mighty hand. He is your shield, your strength, your rock, your deliverer. And when He leads, He provides. When He sends, He protects. When He speaks, it is done. You were never meant to stay stuck. You were never meant to live beneath your calling. You were created for more. You were designed for destiny, and right now, destiny is calling your name. God is saying, I've seen your pain. I've seen your tears. I've heard your prayers. And now I am opening the way before you. Move, my child, move. You may have enemies in this new season, but God will prepare a table before them. You may face giants, but God will sling the stone. You may walk through fire, but God will not let you burn. This new season will not be free of battles, but it will be full of victory. God is positioning you to receive what you once thought was impossible. He is setting you up for miracles. He is rewriting your story in front of the very people who thought it was over. He is raising you from the ashes of yesterday into the divine fulfillment of tomorrow. And now, as the weight of God's voice settles in your spirit, you must understand this is not just a season of change. This is a divine appointment. You are not standing on ordinary ground. You are standing at the threshold of transformation. When God speaks, time bends, circumstances shift, and what seemed impossible becomes reality. God is not asking for your permission. He is calling for your surrender. When God says it's time to move, your only rightful response is obedience. This moment has been ordained before you even knew the struggle you would face. God already saw the nights you would lie awake feeling forgotten. He already counted the tears you would shed when nothing made sense. And yet through it all, God kept preparing a future that your current reality cannot yet comprehend. This new season isn't just about success, it's about purpose. It's not about comfort, it's about calling. God is leading you somewhere that will require everything in you to rise to His standard. You see, there is a sacred tension when God shifts your season. He doesn't always give details. He doesn't always explain the process. Because what He wants from you is not your strategy, He wants your trust. God is testing your heart, not your understanding. Can you trust the God who led you out of bondage to lead you into blessing? Can you trust Him when the path is uncertain, but His voice is sure? When you let go of your own control, you make room for God's authority to reign in full power over your life. You were not meant to blend in with the background of a broken world. You were set apart to move when others freeze, to rise when others fall, to obey when others question. That obedience will become your weapon. That surrender will unlock the season you've been waiting for. God doesn't elevate those who play it safe. He promotes those who are willing to walk when it makes no sense except for the fact that He said, go. Do not be surprised when the old begins to fall away, when friendships shift, when routines break, when familiar places no longer feel like home. That's the evidence that God is pushing you out of the nest. He is breaking the shell of your limitation and saying you were made to fly. And though the sky may look intimidating, God is the wind beneath your wings. He will not let you fall. He will not let you fail. God will take you higher than your feet could ever go on their own. And understand this, every time God calls you into a new season, He also sends new challenges. But those challenges are not punishments, they are platforms. Platforms for His power to be displayed through your surrender. Platforms for His glory to be revealed through your weakness. The storm is not a sign that God has abandoned you. It's the stage He has chosen to show you what happens when you depend on nothing but Him. You don't need to carry the burden of explaining your move to others. When God calls, not everyone will hear it. When God stirs your spirit, not everyone will understand it. And that's all right. Your obedience doesn't require validation from people. It only requires revelation from God. And if you have heard His voice, that is all the confirmation you will ever need. Stop holding on to the old out of fear that the new won't be enough. God never removes something from your life unless He intends to replace it with something greater. If He takes away the crutch, it's because He's teaching you to stand. If He shuts the door, it's because He's opening one that no man can close. If He strips you down to nothing, it's because He's rebuilding you with His power and not your pride. God doesn't operate according to the timelines of men. Just because it's taken longer than you expected doesn't mean God changed His mind. Delay is not denial. Delay is often the refinement necessary to carry the weight of what's coming. God will not release a new season until your character is able to steward it. And if He has you in motion now, it means the fire has done its work. It means the pruning has fulfilled its purpose. It means you are ready even if you don't feel like it. In this new season, God will not ask you to do what is easy. He will ask you to do what is necessary. Necessary for your growth, necessary for His glory, and necessary for your elevation. He may ask you to walk away from distractions. He may ask you to confront things you've buried deep. He may ask you to forgive when it hurts, to let go when it's hard, to stand firm when the winds rage. But every step you take in obedience will be a step into divine alignment. God does not call you without equipping you. He does not send you without covering you. If He tells you to move, then He has already assigned angels to protect the path, already softened hearts ahead of you, already commanded the resources to meet you on the road. Your only job is to move with Him, not ahead of Him, not behind Him, but with Him. When you move with God, you move in rhythm, with purpose. Listen closely now. This isn't just about you. Your obedience will affect generations. Your shift will break generational curses. Your yes to God will open doors not just for you, but for those connected to your name. Your willingness to step into this new season is planting seeds that your children and grandchildren will one day harvest. Don't let fear rob them of a legacy. Don't let comfort steal what God wants to birth through you. There is something glorious on the other side of your yes. But God will not force you. He will not drag you. He will call, and then He will watch to see if you trust Him enough to move. The power of the season is in your response. Will you stay chained to the familiar, or will you rise with holy boldness and say, God, I trust you. Even if I can't see it yet, I trust you. Some of you have been battling the same cycles for years, waiting for something to shift around you. But God is saying the shift must begin within you. The enemy isn't always external. Sometimes the greatest resistance is your own doubt, your own pride, your own fear. Let God tear down the walls you've built with your own thoughts. Let Him shatter the idols of control, perfection, and independence that have stood in the way of your breakthrough. You will know it is God calling you into a new season when everything around you begins to lose taste, when what once satisfied now feels stale. That's not failure, it's favor. That's not loss, it's positioning. God makes you uncomfortable in the old so you can no longer deny the new. And even though it's unknown, is where He is and where God is. Peace follows, provision follows, power follows. Do not confuse quietness for absence. Just because God is silent does not mean He is distant. The silence is often the soil where faith grows strongest. The silence is where trust is perfected. And the moment He says move, you must be ready. You must be alert. You must be positioned like a soldier awaiting command. Disciplined, determined, unwavering. Because the moment you step, things will happen fast. What didn't shift for years will change in weeks. What was closed off for decades will suddenly be unlocked. But only if you obey. You must walk when He says walk. Speak when He says speak. Release when He says release. And most importantly, believe when He says believe. If you've been waiting for someone to give you permission to begin again, this is it. God is giving you the green light. God is telling you to pick up what you dropped, to dream again, to build again, to rise again. That fire inside of you was never meant to die out. It was meant to blaze brighter in this new season. What you thought was the end was only the intermission. Now comes the power, now comes the promise. But hear me well, do not enter this new season with old mindsets. You cannot take bitterness where God is leading you. You cannot take excuses into the next level. You cannot walk in circles and expect straight-line results. This season will require your focus, your discipline, your prayer, your commitment. Because where God is taking you, the distractions will multiply, but so will the rewards for staying faithful. If you remain anchored in God, you will not be shaken. If you remain surrendered to His will, you will not be misled. There is a reason He did not let you quit when everything fell apart. There is a reason He pulled you through when you were ready to give up. There is a reason you're still standing. And that reason is now. God preserved you for this. But listen closely, because this moment is not just passing by, it's a divine visitation. God is not just nudging you toward your future, He is commanding it into existence. And when God commands something into motion, creation must obey. When God says, let there be, nothing in heaven or on earth can say no. Right now, the Spirit of God is hovering over the chaos of your situation, and His voice is speaking order, direction, and purpose into your soul. He is not asking for your resume. He is igniting your readiness. This new season is not about how gifted you are. It's not about how loud you pray or how long you fast. It's about how deeply you trust God to carry you into a place you've never been before. It's about surrendering your will, your fear, your timeline, and saying, God, whatever you say, I will do, because God is not unlocking this season for the double-minded or the hesitant. This new season is reserved for those who are desperate enough to obey, even when it doesn't make sense. Some of you are waiting for the conditions to be perfect, for everything to line up just right before you move. But if you could see with spiritual eyes, you would know that the winds of God are already shifting in your favor. You would know that while the world sees drought, heaven sees harvest. While others see delay, God sees design. The moment God says now, the time becomes holy, the path becomes sacred, and the door becomes open. You've asked, why hasn't it happened yet? But God is saying, because you weren't ready to carry what I was about to release. But now I see faith rising. Now I see obedience forming. Now I see the fire in your bones. Move, because now you're ready. God is not interested in pleasing your comfort. He is invested in perfecting your purpose, and that often requires stretching, breaking, humbling, and shaking everything that is not rooted in Him. This season will be different, not because your circumstances have changed, but because you have changed. God has taken you through the wilderness, not to punish you, but to purify you, not to abandon you, but to anchor you. And now, after all the storms you've survived, all the betrayals you've overcome, all the silent nights where you still whispered prayers, God is saying, I can trust you now. You're ready. Don't think for 1 second that what you went through was wasted. Every tear you cried watered the soil of your new season. Every disappointment carved out space for divine promotion. Every unanswered prayer was a doorway being built behind the scenes. You thought God was silent, but He was strategizing. You thought He was withholding, but He was preparing the kind of blessing that doesn't come cheap. And now it's here. But know this, God is not promoting you just so you can enjoy more. He is elevating you so you can carry more. This season will require spiritual stamina. It will require the kind of focus that turns down the noise of the world and tunes in to the whisper of God. Because where God is taking you, distractions will come dressed as opportunities. Counterfeits will look like blessings. But if your ear is tuned to God's voice, you will know what is sent by Him and what is sent to detour you. God is not just giving you favor, He is training you to steward it. This is not about surface level success. This is about spiritual dominion, about walking into rooms that your past said you could never enter, and knowing you're not there because of who you are, but because of whose you are. God is positioning you to be a vessel of His power, not a container of your own ego. And yes, the enemy will rise. The moment you move, the moment you step into alignment with God's will, resistance will come. But don't let that shake you, let it confirm you. Because the presence of giants means the land is valuable. The rising of opposition means your steps are shaking hell. You are not stepping into ease, you are stepping into warfare. But you are also stepping with the authority of the one who called you. You don't need to fight every battle. God will fight for you. Your obedience is your sword, your stillness is your shield, your faith is your armor. When you walk in obedience, you activate heaven's army. And where God's army marches, darkness flees. Where His power flows, bondage breaks. Where His name is lifted, peace reigns. This new season is not about public applause, it's about private alignment. God is not just changing your surroundings, He is transforming your soul. You'll start to speak differently. You'll discern more deeply. You'll pray with fire that wasn't there before. Because when God moves you, He renews you. When He sends you, He sanctifies you. When He positions you, He purifies everything around you that doesn't match the assignment. Don't hold back. Don't retreat into what's comfortable. Don't let your old identity talk you out of your new reality. You're not who you were. That version of you is for the wilderness. This version is for dominion. You're not just stepping into a season, you're stepping into fulfillment, into legacy, into a life that echoes in eternity because it was lived in submission to the voice of God. Let this truth pierce through the noise of fear and uncertainty. You are called, you are chosen, you are equipped, and not because of your merit, but because of God's mercy. Not because of your perfection, but because of His plan. And now the weight of that calling is resting on your shoulders, not to crush you, but to crown you. God is placing a mantle upon your life, a holy assignment, and He is saying, walk in it, own it, move in it. This moment is sacred. Do not miss it by looking for signs when you already have the signal. Do not waste it by overthinking what God has already made clear. Step now, not tomorrow, not when you feel perfect, but now. Because when you step in faith, God meets you with power. When you step in obedience, He meets you with clarity. And when you move, watch what happens. Doors will open without your knocking. People will find you without you searching. Resources will come without you striving, because obedience creates divine acceleration. Obedience draws heaven's favor like a magnet. And obedience, even in small steps, is the evidence that you believe God is who He says He is. You're not alone in this. God is not sending you forward with empty hands. He is filling your spirit even now. Strength is rising in your bones. Fire is building in your chest. Courage is awakening in your soul. This is what it feels like when heaven confirms your direction. This is what it feels like when the Almighty wraps His will around your life and says, go. Then hear this with urgency and clarity. When God declares that your season has changed, nothing in the natural realm can override the command of the supernatural. Mountains will shift, winds will obey, obstacles will dissolve. But the heart must be willing. It must bow not only in prayer, but in submission. Because the movement God requires of you is not just a physical one, it is a spiritual repositioning. He is calling your thoughts to align, your intentions to purify, your habits to reflect the magnitude of where He is taking you. This is not just another chapter in your story. This is a divine unfolding, a sacred realignment. The season you are entering is not about more things, it is about more of God. It is about walking so closely with Him that His whispers shake your plans and ignite your steps, and those steps will not be small, hesitant steps. They will be steps of dominion, steps of authority that were forged in the fire of your waiting. Some of you have misunderstood the silence as abandonment. You've looked at the delay and questioned the promise. But what you didn't see was the unseen hand of God working beneath the soil, pressing roots into your soul, strengthening your foundation so that the elevation wouldn't destroy you. God was not denying you, He was preparing you. And the deeper the preparation, the higher the purpose. The calling that rests upon your life is not casual, it is weighty, it is sacred. God did not rescue you from darkness just to have you dwell in doubt. He didn't preserve you through every storm just to see you shrink when it's time to rise. The very fact that you're still standing is proof that God's hand never lifted off you. And now He is pressing upon your heart with a new urgency, an unshakable knowing that it is time to release the old and walk boldly into the new. But hear this, not everyone can go with you. Not everything can be carried forward. There are attachments God will sever. There are familiar comforts He will dismantle, and it may feel like loss. But in God's economy, pruning always precedes prosperity. He cuts back only to increase. He removes only to refine. If you lose something in this transition, know that it was not meant to carry the glory of the next season. Let it go. Trust the process. God is doing something divine through your detachment. In this new season, discernment must become your compass. You must be able to distinguish noise from the voice. Culture will shout. People will advise. But only the voice of God brings peace in the storm and fire in the bones. You cannot afford to follow emotions. You must follow instruction. Because the time for wavering is over. This is a season for decisive action, for radical faith, for full surrender. God is not impressed by our eloquence, our strategy, or our strength. What moves Him is obedience. When a soul yields, heaven moves. When a heart surrenders, miracles manifest. And this season will not be unlocked by logic, but by obedient faith. The kind of faith that packs up when there's no map. The kind that plants seeds in dry ground. The kind that speaks yes before the how is explained. And let me speak directly to the one who feels unqualified. You were never meant to qualify yourself. That is God's job. And if He called you, then He has also equipped you. His presence is your qualification. His guidance is your insurance. His plan is your provision. Stop disqualifying yourself based on your past, your mistakes, your brokenness. If God has spoken over you, then what He says outweighs everything that has ever tried to define you. You've allowed fear to sit at the table of your destiny for too long. You've entertained doubts that were never meant to be your companions. But now is the time to stand up and reclaim your authority, not because you're powerful, but because you are backed by the one who is. Fear cannot go with you. Timidity cannot build what God is calling you to construct. You must rise with boldness, not rooted in ego, but in the certainty of God's voice. There is a reason God is speaking to you now, because the season has shifted, because the ground is ready, because heaven is in motion. What you've prayed for is near, but not automatic. You must take the step. You must activate the faith. You must prove that you're not only a listener, but a doer. That's the kind of vessel God trusts with influence, with impact, with divine outcomes. And do not despise small beginnings in this new season, for what starts as a whisper can become a wildfire when God breathes on it. He is not asking you to finish it all in one day. He is asking you to start. He is asking you to move with what you have. He is asking you to trust Him with what you cannot see. That first step may be quiet, but in the heavens it sounds like thunder. Let me say this clearly. God is not waiting for you to be perfect. He's waiting for you to be willing. He doesn't need you to have every answer. He needs you to give Him your whole heart. If you will move in faith, He will move in power. If you will offer obedience, He will pour out revelation. If you will give your steps, He will order your path. What's coming will not look like what's behind you. Stop expecting old methods to yield new results. God is pouring new oil. He is birthing new vision. He is awakening new strength. And you must be ready to receive it. This is not the time to recycle old strategies or dwell on past victories. It's time to be freshly anointed for what's ahead. The old ways were for survival. This new season is about dominion. The old prayers were about deliverance. The new ones will be about assignment. God is not just bringing you out, He is planting you in a place of purpose. And that purpose comes with power, with responsibility, with divine influence. You are being called higher, not for your name to be lifted, but so God's will may be fulfilled through your life. So remove the distractions, silence the noise, dismiss the lies that say you're not enough, and lean into what God is saying. His instruction is life, His command is direction, and His timing is perfect. Even now He is making a way. Even now He is aligning resources, setting appointments, opening gates. The heavens are declaring, "Move, child, your time is now." You must decide, will you stay comfortable in your history, or will you walk in the risk of obedience that leads to destiny? God is not calling you to repeat the cycles of the past. He is calling you to break them, to end them, to forge a new path for those who come after you. You are not just stepping into your future, you are birthing legacy. And as you walk, expect resistance, but do not fear it. Expect pressure, but do not retreat. Expect testing, but do not faint, because every ounce of pressure is producing purpose. Every trial is sharpening discernment. Every delay is teaching patience. God wastes nothing. Not your pain, not your waiting, not even your questions. It all leads to His glory when placed in His hands. Then lift your head and listen, because God is not just telling you to move, He is awakening your destiny. There is a divine urgency in the atmosphere. This is not business as usual. This is not just another season. This is a supernatural repositioning, a holy transformation ordained by God before the foundations of the earth were laid. You are not standing on ordinary ground. You are standing at the edge of divine acceleration. What has taken others decades to accomplish, God will accomplish in you in a moment. if only you are willing to obey. This is the hour when the hesitant will be left behind and the obedient will rise. This is the hour when the quiet will roar, the wounded will be healed, and the rejected will be crowned. Not because of human effort, not because of personal strength, but because God is lifting the humble and silencing the proud. When He moves, no one can stop it. No plan of man can reverse it. And right now He is calling you. You may say, but I'm not ready. But readiness in the kingdom of God is not measured by experience. It is measured by surrender. God does not call the qualified, He qualifies the called. And if He has placed His hand upon you, then no opposition, no circumstance, no voice from your past can disqualify what God has anointed. He is not asking for perfection. He is demanding faithfulness. That is the currency of heaven. That is the weight that moves mountains. This is not a suggestion. It is a spiritual command. Move, because God is about to make your name known not for your glory, but for His divine purpose. He will use your life as a sign. He will use your obedience as a testimony. When others see you rise, they will say, surely the hand of God is upon them. But first you must leave the land of excuses. You must abandon the comfort of delay, because in this season, obedience is breakthrough. Let God speak to your inner man. Let Him awaken what this world tried to bury. Let Him breathe into the dry places of your heart. You've silenced the dream long enough. You've lived beneath your potential for too long, but God is declaring enough. He is shaking the dust off your vision, reigniting the purpose in your bones. It's time to walk into what has been waiting for you all along. There is a land of promise you've never stepped into because you feared the giants. But giants are not obstacles to God. They are evidence that the land is rich, that the harvest is great, and that the blessing is worth the battle. Stop asking God to remove the giants and start asking Him for the strength to slay them, because the reward is on the other side of your faith, not your fear. And don't you worry about what people will say. Don't you fear their opinions or their judgment. They didn't see the nights you cried. They didn't witness the days you walked in silence, clinging to the only thing left, your faith in God. Let them talk, let them doubt. While they speculate, you will elevate. While they hesitate, you will dominate. Because you are not walking with their approval, you are walking with God's command. This season will test your loyalty to God. It will stretch your ability to trust when you cannot trace. It will confront every false idol, every reliance on self, every craving for comfort. God is stripping away what's temporary to anchor you in what's eternal. If it's shaking, let it shake. If it's falling, let it fall. What is not rooted in God must be removed. What is not born of God must be buried. Don't ask God for new ground if you're still clinging to old chains. Don't ask Him to open new doors if you're unwilling to walk away from what He's already closed. This is the moment of decision, and your destiny will not be delayed any longer unless you choose to stay behind. But if you rise, if you move, if you obey, watch how fast God will move on your behalf. He is not only moving you forward, He is pulling down strongholds, He is lifting up new standards, He is pouring out fresh oil, and He is positioning you not just for blessing, but for influence. The blessing is not the end goal. The influence is not the final reward. The goal is always obedience to God, alignment with His will, and fulfillment of your purpose. And let me speak directly to your hidden pain, the kind no one sees, the kind you've buried beneath a strong exterior. God has seen it. God has collected every tear. And what you thought would destroy you, He is now using as the foundation for your assignment. That betrayal, it taught you discernment. That rejection, it deepened your dependence on Him. That failure, it killed your pride. Nothing was wasted. God will recycle your suffering into spiritual power. That's why you must move, because the pain has served its purpose. The fire has done its work. The season of refining is over, and the season of rising has come. God is calling you out of the cave, out of the shadows, out of survival mode. You are not meant to crawl into your calling. You are meant to run toward it, clothed in authority. and driven by divine conviction. But you must protect your focus. You must silence every voice that tries to reattach you to who you used to be. There will be whispers from your past. There will be voices of doubt, but you must choose whose voice matters. When God says move, every other voice must be silenced beneath the weight of His authority. This is your responsibility to move when He speaks. There will be opposition, but God will cover you. There will be loss, but God will restore you. There will be battles, but God will fight them. There will be unknowns, but God will lead you. This is not the path of the weak-hearted. It is the path of the willing-hearted. You don't need all the strength. You need all the surrender. Because in this new season, the old rules don't apply. God is about to fast-track what took others years. He is about to open doors in high places. He is about to elevate your voice in rooms you were never invited to. And it will not be because of your connections. It will be because of your submission. God is preparing to show you what happens when a life is fully yielded to Him. You've seen glimpses, you've felt the stirrings, but now He is saying it's time to walk in the fullness. It's time to embody what I placed in you. Stop living small when God made you for impact. Stop hiding when He has called you to influence. Stop shrinking when He has anointed you to stand tall. This is not just your season. It is God's season through you. It is His plan, His agenda, His power, and His glory flowing through a surrendered vessel. And that vessel is you. If you will move when He says move, if you will trust when it's unclear, if you will obey when it's uncomfortable, then the floodgates will open, the heavens will respond, and what was delayed will suddenly accelerate into manifestation. Let the world watch in wonder as you rise. Let the doubters be silenced by the evidence of God's hand on your life. Let the winds blow, let the storms rage, because your house is not built on sand. It is built on the rock of obedience. And that obedience will carry you into the season you've longed for, prayed for, and cried for. And when the dust settles and you look around at the evidence of God's power, you will not boast in yourself. You will lift your hands and say, this was the hand of God. This was His doing, and it is marvelous in my eyes. And now, stand still just for a moment and feel the weight of this holy calling. Let every word settle in your bones, not as mere inspiration, but as divine instruction. This is not just a message. It is a mandate from God, a summons to rise, to walk, to move, not in fear, not in flesh, but in full alignment with the God who called you. You have lingered on the edges of breakthrough long enough. You have circled the same wilderness far too many times. You have waited, questioned, doubted, and delayed. But now God is telling you to move into your new season, not because the journey will be easy, but because it is ordained. Not because you are fully ready, but because He is with you. So step forward. Leave behind the weight of what was and embrace the wonder of what is to come. God has gone before you. The way has been prepared. The door is already open. All that remains is for you to walk through it. With every step you take, chains will break. With every move you make, heaven will respond. And with every act of obedience, the power of God will flood your life like never before. Your new season is not a possibility. It is a reality waiting for your yes. And when you give it fully, humbly, boldly, nothing will ever be the same again. Now move, because God is waiting.